Hi guys, this is Gnimsh and welcome to the Whispers of the Old Gods review. I haven't been reviewing any cards, but well, there's big news, so let's talk about the big news right away. There is a supposed release date, so let's quickly jump on the Hearthstone and see how it looks. Alright, so according to Hearthstone, Whispers of the Old Gods releases April 26. There are some news about, it's not confirmed yet, but it's a highly likely date. There is a, it's safe to assume that's Tuesday, April 26th, the release of the Whispers of the Old Gods. Yeah, basically, I think it's about time, right? Like, they did spoil a lot of cards, and it will not be earlier because still the streamers, they are voting for the cards. They will be reviewing some cards. I'm sure some of the sites, they still have all the cards, and we've seen not enough cards so far. So normally Blizzard is releasing a lot of cards and a whole card package before they release the set. I don't know if that's good or not. Like, some people don't like spoilers. I personally would like to see all the cards before I purchase the set, because then I can decide if I definitely want every card. But let's say I can't get all the cards, so I want to decide if I really want to get into Whispers of the Old Gods, or do I want to buy some maybe TGT packs, because after rotation the card values will change, rotation and some nerfs. So I'm like, honestly, I would like to see the nerfs already, because I'm going to review the cards for you today. But before I go into that, let's look at another piece of news, because there's also the Yogg-Saron artwork. Yogg-Saron, the fourth Old God. We've seen three already. We've seen N'Zoth, Cthulhu, and Yusharj. And Yogg-Saron is the fourth one, the last one of the Old Gods. So this is the artwork, and hopefully this card will get released today. I think if they release it today, I'll actually do a special video on him. But today, what I have for you, those news, obviously. And also what I want to do is review the cards. So because I haven't reviewed the cards before, I will review all of them, and I will do it a bit faster. So far 45 cards have been revealed out of 134. There will be a lot of cards, guys. So we haven't seen around, like 80 plus cards, doing the quick math, which is a lot of cards, and we cannot really judge the set through those cards. But those cards already give us a feel for the set. So my general feel before I even go into the specific cards is that this set is going to be slow. There's not that many aggro cards. There's mostly anti-aggro, well, not anti-aggro, just solid cards that are arena cards. They don't feel that great in constructed yet. There is a couple of really viable constructed cards, but if the nerfs for the classic set are not big, and I think classic set will still be the strongest, which is probably fair for the new players when they get into the game. But let's go through the cards. For Druid, we have two cards. We have Klaxi, Amber Weaver, and Mark of Yasharj. Klaxi has okay stats, great stats for 4 mana, because it's a 4 mana 4/5, and it does something. I think that's fine. In a Cthulhu deck, absolute auto-include, you want it. And in deck that is not an auto-include. We have the Yeti, a Chillwind Yeti, and this is another Chillwind Yeti, if you really want to include it. Like, it doesn't, if you're not a Cthulhu Druid, this is just a solid card. And people do play Chillwind Yeti, and I even seen Chillwind Yeti played recently instead of Pilot Shredder in the finals of the IEM Katowice. So those stats are good, and you can never underestimate the stats. So I think Klaxi can definitely see some play even outside of the Cthulhu decks. Then Mark of Yasharj, Blizzard is forcing that Beast Druid. It doesn't give taunt, it's just +2/+2. So in a Beast deck, definitely yes. If there is a buff deck, maybe. Well, I'm coming back to the sisters, right? Like the Fiola Lightbane and Darkbane, the Darkbane and the Lightbane sisters, whatever. That's a buff. This can work with them. So another buff is fine. It's like, I've been looking for those buffs when I was building the Gnimsh Druid back in the day, and that's another buff, which is cool to have it around. Like, it doesn't look to me like a great card at the moment, because buffs in Hearthstone, if they don't have an immediate effect on board, it's kind of tough. Like Divine Shield maybe, because we can't deal with it. We can actually kill something with the minion, but the +2/+2 is not that great. It's like I buff my minion, so it's a minion and a buff, and then they kill it with one spell, and it's basically one spell for my 2 cards. If I draw a card because I buffed the beast, yes, that's some value, but I'm not sure about the buffs yet. In Hearthstone specifically. Then we have Hunter. We have this giant Sandworm 8/8/8 that with Beast Mastery it can just clear the board. It's a beast. I think like itself card is not that playable. I will probably not look into it in my Hunter deck that much, but it's a beast, so it's another beast that can actually get spawned by Ram Wrangler or Infest. That's the next card here. So Web Spinner is going out, but we still have those cards that bring a random beast, and Giant Sandworm is a beast. So we are definitely going to see it from the random effects. I'm not sure how constructed viable it is. It's an 8 mana 8/8. If the metagame slows really badly, which I doubt, it might get playable. Should not be playable yet. And Infest, give your minions the throttle, add a random beast to your hand. It's basically kind of similar to Arcane Intellect in a way for hunters. Like there is a lot of good beasts, and I will have to see the beast pool after rotation for the standard format. For the wild is obviously like known at the very moment, but we'll need to see how many times Infest actually hits at least one, at least 2 minions, because like 1 beast for 3 mana is not good. If we get 3 beasts, it's fine. If we get 3 to 4, like 3 mana 2 beasts is fine. 3 mana 3 beast is great. So like the potential of the card is there somewhere. I think this is definitely playable for Hunter as card draw card. And if you want to support a beast strategy, but it's not super amazing. Like it's not like card like I feel like, yeah, this is the great card. And also there's this argument that with Arcane Intellect, at least you draw 2 cards that are good and they support your deck strategy because they are in your deck, they thin your deck, they give you a chance to draw other cards. And Infest is bringing cards outside of your collection, like the spider, but the problem is there are random cards. And Burgle, for example, for Rogue, does similar things. Like Burgle brings you 2 cards that are outside of your collection, and they are random cards. But maybe Beasts are a bit more controllable. Like Beasts will be a bit better. We'll see. I think Infest is definitely a card you can try. Mage, we have Kabbalist's Tome and Forbidden Flame. Kabbalist's Tome, add 3 random mage spells to your hand, 5 mana. Again, a random effect, unfortunately. But I think Kabbalist's Tome is playable as a one-off in tempo decks. Like in decks that basically are super fast. And then you like play Kabbalist's Tome to replenish your hand. Like you can again argue Arcane Intellect brings 2 cards from your deck. But Kabbalist's Tome, like if you get like you get 3 spells, and mage spells will mostly support the mage strategy when you play it, and it will be like an endgame card to refill your hand and maybe snatch that Pyroblast, snatch a Fireball, or maybe Frost Nova that will allow you to actually get your torches or whatever to kill your opponent. So Kabbalist's Tome is again not amazing, but it's a fun card definitely, and fun decks, and in tempo decks it can actually be playable as well. Forbidden Flame is an okay removal card, but it's not amazing. Spend all your mana, deal that much damage to a minion. It's like 1 mana, 1 damage. The thing about Forbidden Flame is that it's flexible. So like early game, I can kill it if Knife Juggler is going out, but like basically a 2-drop with Forbidden Flame for 2 mana. For 3 mana, I can kill something with 3/3. So the fact that the card is so flexible as minion removal might see play definitely control decks. I'm not sure how good it will be in tempo decks, but control mages can probably use it as a removal card. Then we have Paladin, and Paladin got actually 5 cards, like a lot of cards, and Ragnar's Lightlord is not a troll card. I honestly, I thought it's a troll card because it's like lore-wise, it doesn't make sense. It's like a new lore. It's basically Hearthstone being playful with its stuff. And right now, Ragnar's Lightlord, well, it doesn't really work that well. It's an 8 mana 8/8 legendary that heals a friendly character. I mean, it can maybe seal the deal in the, well, save you in a way in a control matchup, but the problem, like, okay, so you play it on an empty board and nothing damaged, or it's at least your stuff is like not damaged, so you guarantee that you will heal yourself. So you play an 8/8 that's actually dangerous, and you heal yourself back to 8, like 8+. And then if they don't kill it and you survive, you can probably try to force the heal again, or at least if they damage it with some minions, you have like a 50-50 that you will actually heal yourself again. So the card is not bad. And come on, it's a legendary card, but dealing damage most of the time is better than healing. So normal Ragnaros is still better, and this Ragnaros is only for Paladin. I don't know. I will try the card. I think it's fun, actually. It's not bad. It's surprising, and definitely something interesting for Hearthstone. Then Vilefin Inquisitor. I think this card is great. It's not only good stats for 1 mana, 1/3 to be able to fight back aggro and to do some damage already, like in the very beginning. So They you play a mirror match, you play Vilefin, they do a 1/1. So it's a really cool card overall to interact, like very good stats. And then it's a Murloc, so it's basically it interacts with all the Murlocs that are there. So buffs, it's getting buffed. It's buffing Murkais and stuff. Like Murkai is actually getting out of standard, but overall, Vilefin Inquisitor is a Murloc, so it's a card type. And also the Battle Cry, your hero power becomes summon 1/1 Murloc. It's great. It doesn't work that well with anything can happen, or like at least anything can happen will have to change if it plays this kind of card, because then there is a big chance that you'll summon those 1/1s. But overall, just 2 mana summon a Murloc, it's perfect. So I just see the Murloc Paladin, and we already, not like at the moment with the combos and just trying to finish the game, but just play Murlocs. Like a lot of Murlocs in your deck, and try to buff the Murlocs, and try like some card draw as well to be able to draw more Murlocs and produce Murlocs with the hero power. So yeah. Vilefin Inquisitor. I can actually imagine even commentating the games when they say, yep, one guy got Vilefin Inquisitor and the other didn't. So the game went south. But this is definitely playable. Then we have Forbidden Healing. So again, the Forbidden spell, spend all mana, heal for double the mana you spend. Well, it's a heal. I'm not a big fan of healing overall in games, because healing doesn't solve the problem that you're dying and the board is full, so you always want to clear the board. But well, let's say it might be a lot. Like for 5 mana you heal 10. I don't like it. I really don't like this card. I think like there's a Turlo, right? Like a 5/5 guy. If you win the joust, you heal what, 7? So I don't like Forbidden Healing. I think it's okay to give it to Paladin because he's getting some other good cards. So it's a possible card for deck builders to use in the future in specific decks. But for now, it doesn't really do much. Steward of Darkshire, the card that Lothar revealed, is actually quite good. It's a good stats, 3 mana, 3/3. Whenever you summon a 1 health minion, give it Divine Shield. I think it's got confirmed already that it's like you give the Murlocs and the dudes the Divine Shield as well. So definitely a card that's fine, and you play it, has to be dealt with. The 1/1s with Divine Shield will be super annoying, especially if you try to buff them as well. So a deck based on, well, I maybe even, would you put it in a Murloc deck? I don't know, like I need to think about this stuff. Like there's a lot of great thinking for the people who love building decks and trying out cards. So the 28th, end of April, beginning of May will be so cool with like all the deck ideas and a new strategy. So Steward of Darkshire definitely fine. Stand Against Darkness, 5 mana, summon 1, 5/1/1 Silverhand Recruits. It's good, it's good. It's 5/1/1s. It replenishes the board. It's 5 power for 5 mana. So it's just good. And it's a common card. So I like it. I mean, it's not super amazing, but it's a common card, which is really solid, and it's constructed viable. It's like, I slam Stand Against Darkness, and you have to deal with all the dudes. If you're another warrior, that might be actually troublesome. And against aggro decks, like against this board, it might be tough. So we'll see. Like, Stand Against Darkness is definitely a playable card. So Paladin overall, because we've seen 5 cards, I think they're overall quite good, and Paladin can get Paladin definitely needs to change a bit, because we're losing so many cards with GVG rotating out and Axe, like without no shielded mini bot, no quartermaster, no master for battle. So those cards are going out, and we need something else. And I think we got it. Like Paladin will still be alive. Then we have Priest, Herald Volage, very interesting minion. Like if you don't know what's here, it's a Herald Volage from a profile. Like this is his head, and this is his right arm. He's like facing that direction. He's basically looking at Forbidden Shaping. So this guy, like this is his face, this is his eye here, this is like his whatever he has on his face, and this is the right arm, a tentacle thing. He's okay. I like him. 6 mana, 5/5. It's basically, if you have a minion on board, it's a 6 mana, 6/6 with regards to power. If you have 2 minions, it's 6 mana, 7/7. So pretty good stats. And also, those cards get effects. So you can set up a board in a way that Herald Volage is mostly good. Like even if an empty board you have, right? I said it like Yoda. But if you empty board you have, play Volage Herald, you will. And it will be a 5/5, which is okay. It's like not bad. 5/5 stats for 6 mana, but it has potential, so I think the card is cool. Forbidden Shaping is probably the best of the Forbidden cards. Spend all your mana, summon a random minion that costs that much. There's even a video on YouTube somewhere. I'll probably link it in the description. That the guy counts when it's good to play Forbidden Shaping, because in the specific mana slots you have a better minion, like you have a chance for a better minion. So definitely, and worst comes to worst, you can fill the curve. If you really need a curve, you can always cast Forbidden Shaping. So that, I think it's a card that you keep in Mulligan. Unless, and like, depends on the deck, right? Like, the later you play Forbidden Shaping, the better the minion will be. Like, you can get Ragnaros on 8. There are some good cards you can actually summon. On Shadow Word Horror, destroy all minions with 2 or less attack. Well, you can say like Priest has a lot of removal cards, but this gives you flexibility. Like with this, you can actually decide which removal card you want to include in your deck. And also it's metagame dependent. Like maybe the metagame will actually have a lot of minions that are 2 or less attack. Maybe there's a deck that's too powerful if there are no priests that can stop it. So Shadow Word Horror, definitely a card that's playable in some metagames. I don't know how good it will be. Depends how the metagame will look like. And then we have Rogue. There's a lot of discussion about Zaril Poisoned Mind. Because the first glance, the guy looks bad. Like, it looks like 4 mana, 3/2. Like, the stats are bad. They just kill it with anything. Just super easy to kill. Only 2 health. But it's all about Battlecry and the Defraudal. He gives you random toxin card to your, like, he basically gives you a random toxin twice. Unless he gets silenced. But well, with Brown Bronzebeard, you even get more toxins there because of the Battlecry. Let's look at the toxins. So keep in mind that 4 mana 3/2 is bad, but it's not that terrible because normally for 4 mana you get around 8 stats. You get 5 stats here. So you lose 3 in stats power. Let's see the toxins quickly. Alright, toxins. You can give +3 attack to a minion, give stealth, shadow step, deal 2 damage to a card. Those toxins are quite good, and they are spells. So, Rogue, well, you need spells for combo cards, you need spells for gadgets, and so basically toxins are quite good. And I think if a guy for 4 mana actually, well, he does something on board, he is a 3/2, and it also gives you those 2 spells that you can use later, it's like quite a good card. So I think like a lot of pro players got excited about it. Some players were really doubting that the card is good, but I think overall the card is definitely playable in specific situations and specific decks. And then we have an Understudy Huckster. Understudy Huckster, 2 mana 2/2, half of the Burgle effect. So when it dies, a random class card to your hand gets you get the card. I'm not sure. It's again a spell. No, it's actually a class card, so you can get a minion as well. Well, it's hard to say how good the card is. It's just a 2 mana 2/2, and if we talk about 2 mana 2/2s, like Cutpurse didn't see much play. So I don't think Understudy Huckster will actually see much play because just the stats are too bad. So I'm sorry, Huckster, just 2/2 doesn't cut it. Like there will be a lot of 2 mana 2/3s that just kill you, and that will not work. That will not work. So Zaril is definitely a card you can play around with and include in your deck and check how good the toxins actually are. But Understudy Huckster, yeah, no, sorry Huckster. Shaman. So finally, Shaman is getting good cards, and I think all those cards are good. First, Halazil, the Ascended. Whenever your spells deal damage, restore that much health to your hero. 5 mana for 6. Good stats, because it's a total of 10, which is standard. Well, it's actually standard for 5 drops, but it's not getting punished by its effect. Really good, solid stats. And then we have this effect that heals you, actually. So on turn 5, well, it doesn't do much, right? But if you play it a bit later in the game, for a control shaman, basically, you want healing, but you also want to deal damage, so you don't want healing that much. So this means that if you play Halazil later in the game, you can use the lightning bolts or like lightning storms to basically refill your health. Like I see this guy basically just turning around games where Shaman is about to lose the game, and then on turn 8 he actually casts like Halazil and then like lightning storm or maybe elemental destruction. Like I'm not sure how it works exactly, but I love the fact that you can actually include damage spells in your deck and Halazil and some minions, and then you're able to get this extra effect for your damage spells, which are already good, and you can use them as removal and heal yourself, or even start racing. Just play the 4/6 on board. Just go face with that like lava burst, heal 5, deal 5. It's a great deal. It's good. It's like it's already changing the spells in a way. So definitely a great card. then unfortunately Legendary is only one in the deck. Think from below, you can play 2 of them, and I think this is probably the best card revealed so far. So a 6 mana 5/5 taunt, cost 1 less for each totem you've summoned this game. I normally as a Shaman summon totems on turn 2. I often summon totem on turn 4 as well. So, well, if I can play this as early as turn 5, I'm super happy. Just a 5 mana 5/5 taunt, great. A 4 mana 5/5 taunt, well, that's a bit disgusting. But imagine that you actually play your game and at turn 8 or 9, because you play control Shaman, right? So like you will playing Feral Spirits and stuff. Like you did cast a couple of totems along the way, and then suddenly, well, you did spend a lot of cards, but then on turn 8 you just play 2 thing, like you totem up, and then you play double Think from Below for 3 mana, and you just smile at your opponent because you have double 5/5 taunt and you just play the totem as well. So this card is great. It's definitely great, and it feels really good. 5 stats taunt, perfect. I really like it. I think I will try Shaman maybe even first after the rotation hits, because Think from Below, Halazil, the Ascendant, and now also Master of Evolution. So Master of Evolution, Battlecry transform a friendly minion into random one that costs 1 more. Good stats again, like it's even better stats, like Chillwind Yeti stats plus effect. So it seems a bit like a power creep from Blizzard's perspective, just bringing the 4 mana 4/5s with those great stats and an effect. Transform a friendly minion. So you basically have, let's say, a 2 mana minion that you had on board, and you transform it into 3 mana minion. So you improve a minion on board and you transform it. So imagine those moments when people played Recombobulator. So you attack into a minion with your minion in a way that you try to keep your minion alive, but it gets damaged. And then you play Master of Evolution, and I'm talking about playing it on curve, but imagine playing it on turn 9 maybe, turn 5. So you had the Think from Below, which is basically 6 mana, even though it got reduced. It got some damage. And then on the next turn you follow up with Master of Evolution and you change Think from Below into a 7 mana creature. Even though it was a 5/1 and it was dying the next turn. Suddenly you just change it into, well, not Dr. Boom, but let's say, well, 7/7, like whatever. You just change it into a good minion, and it's fully healed. So Master of Evolution is a great card as well. Okay, and that was Shaman. Warlock. So Shaman got really good stuff. What about Warlock? Warlock got shit at the moment, at least, because Doom is another AoE card that actually draws the cards, but at 10 mana, drawing cards brings you closer to fatigue. So the more minions you kill, you are actually killing yourself with fatigue in a way. And you already have a better AoE card, which is for 8 mana and doesn't kill you with card draw. Like, card draw is normally good, but I don't think that it's that good in this. So with 30 card decks, Doom is probably not that good. If we have 60 card decks, it will be better. I don't like Doom. I like the art. It's Yogg-Saron. Renounce Darkness. It's a fun card. I'm sure a lot of streamers will play it. I'll play it myself just to have fun. But replace your hero power and Warlock cards with another classes. The cards 1 less. My hero power is the best in the game as Warlock. Why would I ever replace it with anything else? Maybe Steady Shot as a hunter. But yeah, it's a fun card in a way that you change your deck into something absolutely random, and you can have, like, let's say you get Warrior and you get like Whirlwinds and double Grommash, or like triple Grommash, maybe, possibly. Maybe there will be a combo, but it's too random at the moment. So I like it as a fun card, a fun and interactive card, but not as a competitive deck card. Then Warrior, that I've mentioned. Tentacles for arms, people say it's really bad, it's terrible. I do agree, it should be a common card, not an epic, because if I pull Tentacle for arms from my booster pack being, yes, epic, I'll be really disappointed. Unless I'm actually happy because I can dust it. Tentacle for arms makes sense in a very grindy Warrior deck where, like, you and your opponent go out of cards and you top deck. You basically draw, and you get Tentacle for arms, which never dies in a way, because whenever you just lose it, it goes back to your hand. But 5 mana is a bit too much. So I think maybe a one-off in Contra Warrior if we really don't have any more weapons and we lack card draw. Then Tentacles for arms might work, but I doubt it. Ancient Shieldbearer, 7 mana, 6/6. If your Cthulhu has at least 10 attack, gain plus 10 armor. It's a shield maiden. It's a new shield maiden, and I think it's definitely fine. Like in the Cthulhu deck, and which is a control deck in a way, you can play Ancient Shieldbearer. Plus, 10 attack is not that hard to get. It's on turn 7. I think in a Cthulhu deck it should be possible to easily get into 10 attack. And then just getting 10 life out of nowhere. I like it, and stats are very decent. So I think Ancient Shieldbearer is actually really freaking good. It tells me I want to have a Cthulhu War deck. And because I'll even have 2 of them. So seriously, if first is active, I can just slam another one and just get insane amount of health, and definitely I will be able to slam Cthulhu that game at some point. N'Zoth's First Mate. It's actually a pirate. Like the first time I saw the card, I thought it's actually his like lover in a way, like you know, like mating with N'Zoth. But hopefully they're not mating. They're just like it's actually a first mate as a pirate. Equip a 1/3 Rusty Hook. I like it. It's a good card. It's a 1/1. Stats are not the best in a way because we normally are used to 2/1s. But we get a weapon with 3 strikes, so a very good anti-aggro card. I would even say it's a good aggro card because you will get a weapon, so this guy provides it with 4 damage. So it's like, it's a leopard gnome in a way, because you get the weapon, and it's even better than leopard gnome because in aggro matchups you will be able to kill opposing 2/1s with your weapon and then continue dealing damage with your own minions. So N'Zoth's First Mate is definitely really good if you think about it. And then we have neutral cards. Finally, the big guys. N'Zoth, the Corruptor. So Battlecry summon your defrauded minions that died this game. The first thing I'm thinking about when I see N'Zoth is like, how many defrauded taunts are in the game after rotation? And the answer is not that many. There are some. So there is Abomination still. And I think there is one more at least. But like a lot of great cards are actually rotating out. Unstable Ghoul is out, Deathlord is out, Sludge Belcher is out. A lot of them are out. But I think there's 2 of them at least that they can... Oh, actually Tyrion. Tyrion is a defrauded minion and Tyrion is still there. So N'Zoth with the Paladin deck that brings Tyrion on turn 10. That's broken. That's too good. Right? Like... Mostly the game is done by turn 8 when they play Tyrion and they seal the deal. But then if they are able to bring N'Zoth on turn 10 and bring Tyrion back, you're like, hey, what up? And there's also one more minion affected that we already seen. Infested Tauren. Infested Tauren being a taunt, 2/3 defrauded, it's also being brought back by N'Zoth. So I definitely see N'Zoth being viable, playable in a specific kind of deck. Obviously, defraudals like Sylvanas, possibly. But you need to remember that if you play N'Zoth deck, you probably want to limit the number of defraudal minions you have in the deck to play it like anything can happen in the current version of the game. So you just always you like select the minions you want because you only have a specific number of minions in the deck. But yeah, Tyrion back. I like it. And the 5/7 stats are not great, but he brings the minions. And he's actually, well, I'm saying not great stats, but he is resistant to Big Game Hunter unless Big Game Hunter gets nerfed. Cthulhu is probably the biggest guy in the room, the best, because not only the ability is quite nice, like whenever we play him, he deals damage, so he does something. Even if he is removed, he is still dealing a lot of damage. Depends how much we can grow him, but if in a control deck, it should be possible to grow him a lot. And what we can also do with Cthulhu is like bulk, like we can brand Bronzebeard Cthulhu, and if that hits, that's even better. So I really like Cthulhu as a card, and I like the mechanic of the old gods when they're coming. I mean, like it's only Cthulhu, right? But he's coming. It's like you see him coming, and you are afraid. It's this version of Eldritch horror. Like both players anticipate. Like you are the cultist. You try to bring Cthulhu and destroy the world with him, or like your opponent at least. And your opponent is like, no, I need to stop Gnimsh from bringing Cthulhu to the world and destruction and everything. So that's a really cool mechanic with Cthulhu. I love it. All right, your charge is probably the worst rage unbound. I see no rage here. At the end of your turn, put a minion from your deck into the battlefield. That sucks. I mean, he brings 1 minion, but it's like it's worse than Kel'Thuzad. Kel'Thuzad is out, unfortunately. But okay, let's think about the charge if it can be good. So in my deck still, I have a couple of cards when I get the charge. I'm getting him late. So I can play him, and maybe I can get a card that has an effect at the end of turn. So if I get Ragnaros, wow. I can deal 8 damage, but I would rather play Ragnaros instead of Yashar, even though it's a 10-10 minion. What else we can get? Like, we can get Isera, we can get, well, something that does things at end of turn. And there are not that many cards that do that. And if you don't get the cards, you just get something bad, mostly. Like, something you maybe didn't want even to get because it's a battle cry. So Yashar is not that good at the very moment, unless we actually get some other cards. So it can be good in the future. I kind of like it in a way that it's in the game. We maybe can use it in the future. Not for now. Not for now, Yashar doesn't look that great. Then we have the Boogie Monster, 8 mana, 6/7. When this attacks and kills a minion, gain +2/+2. For 8 mana, it's a bit too expensive, so it's one of those big legendaries. In a way, like a Gruul, but if the metagame slows down, it's another big monster you can include in your deck for 8 mana. But there are better 8 mana monsters, so I'm not sure. It doesn't excite me that much. Hogger, Doom of Elwyn. Hogger is back, better and bigger. 6 mana, oh well, 7 mana, 6/6. The good part about Hogger is that you can actually control his ability. So it's not like, what was Trogzor, that you play it and then you wait for your opponent, please play a spell. It's like you play Hogger, you can enrich Hogger, suddenly 2 to taunt. Like, they want to kill Hogger. It's not easy to deal 6 damage in one go, so it's kind of like, what is it? Acolyte of Pain in a way, right? They attack into it, you get an effect, and there's a taunt in a way. So I think Hogger is definitely a great card. It's a really good card, and it will be playable. It doesn't have an effect when you play him on empty board on turn 7, but if you play him later in the game, like maybe if you can taunt him up with a spell or whatever, or just basically run into a minion, kill a minion, get it to taunt. So I think Hogger is this version of Hogger is actually quite fine, especially in the new metagame, which hopefully will be a bit slower. Mukla, Tyrant of the Veil. Add 2 bananas to your hand. Stanislav Sivka is really happy about this one. What happens with Mukla, I see it in Rogue, maybe in Tempo Mage, because those are 2 spells, and for 6 mana, 5/5, it's not terrible. It's not the best. It's not the best. It's not a card. It's not broken at all, but it does give you bananas for 1 mana. So like you pay normally for 5 mana, you get a 5/5. So this time you pay 1 more mana to get 2 bananas that actually are +1/+1 to a creature and are spells. So I think Mukla is okay. Scaled Nightmare. That card can be really deadly. It can be really bad or really good. Depends on the metagame. So like sometimes Scaled Nightmare will actually scale itself outside. Like the damage that it will deal will be amazing, really big. But most of the time I think it will be good. Like if you coin it against a priest, it's obviously terrible because possibly Cabal Shadow Priest. But versus other decks, like if you play, I think this is a card that you can play in a control deck as a win condition in a way. So let's say I play Contra Warrior and I try to kill all your minions. So on turn 6, like you play another minion and I play Scaled Nightmare. And can you really deal 8 damage with that minion to my Scaled Nightmare? And your minion will probably die because it has like not much health. And if you can't, well, Scaled Nightmare is friggin' doubling its attack. So suddenly it's a 4/8 and I can kill your minion or I can go face. But if you don't kill it now, it's suddenly 8 attack and some health. So I can try to protect my Scared Nightmare. I think Scared Nightmare is a very interesting card. And obviously late game as well. Like let's say my Contra Warriors, like we are having this late game conversation where we almost have no cards. You definitely have no removal because you've spent it on my other stuff. And then I slam Scared Nightmare. And you're like, oh, I need to draw an answer because if I don't, I'm just dead in 3 turns. So Scared Nightmare is definitely a cool card, I think. And in aggro decks, possibly. I think like in aggro decks it actually can work even better in a way because you do challenge your opponents all the time for removal from the first turns. And then like normally when you play Zoo, you slam Doomguard on 5, people don't have that removal. So let's say I slam Lothab on 5. Well, Lothab is out. Okay, so I slam, what is on 5? Like what do I do on 5 now? I don't know. But I play a 5 mana minion and then you have to deal with it, and then I play Scaled Nightmare, and maybe that's the moment when I actually caught you off guard on that turn. And if we don't do anything, I just have a 4 attack minion next turn, which will be an 8 attack next turn and 16 attack next turn. So I don't even know how the buffs work on this guy. Like, if I can buff it, like, play it on 8 and buff it with a +2/+2 as Druid and be like 4 attack minion and it doubles to 8/8. Maybe it will work. Like, I mean, Scale Nightmare looks good. Ancient Harbinger, or Harbinger. So 6 mana, 4/6. It draws me a 10 mana card. So I can get my Old God, 6 mana, 4/6. Stats are okay-ish. Not the best, but okay-ish. And the 10 mana cards are mostly like giants. There's Deathwing, so if you really want Deathwing, I don't know if Deathwing possibly in some decks might work to reset the board, but it mostly should work with the Old Gods. Just summon one of them. We still don't know what Yogg-Saron does. Hopefully we'll know today. Then we have this, well, the Ancient Harbinger, like, for now it doesn't excite me that much, but it can work because it's like combo-oriented card. Validated Doomsayer. I was surprised how good this card was when we just traded minions and when I was visiting Blizzard office. Validated, like, you look at it as 0/7, so, like, you play it, and then if your opponent has the board, it just dies. But if you play it on empty board, it's actually quite scary, because suddenly it's like a 7/7 and can deal with stuff, and it was only 5 mana. So Validated Doomsayer is a card that doesn't look good at the very moment, but can actually see some play on different metagames. On Arena will be amazing, I think. If you're winning, just win even more with Validate Doomsayer. Just seal the game with this guy. Faceless Shambler, 4 mana, taunt, battlecry, copy a friendly minion, attacks and health. By the way, it's the taunt. Oh, it's not the defile, so like it doesn't work with Nizov. But copy a friendly minion's attack and health. It's a taunt, so that's cool. If you have some kind of board, you can basically slam it. I'm not sure how good it is yet, but a card that needs to be tested. Then we have a Skiram Cultist for 6 mana, 7/6, good stats, buffs Katoon. Good stats, buffs Katoon. Probably fine. Not amazing. Katoon deck, you might actually use it possibly. No taunt, unfortunately. So it's just like a blank card. If you feel like, I don't know, like 6 mana cards that just bring stats, like Hunter is going to plow through Skiram Cultists. So we'll see. We'll see if Katoon deck is actually a thing. Corrupted Healbot, good stats. Actually, it's a bit better than Cultist. So Corrupted Healbot might actually work in control decks because it's like better stats than the curve, and you don't really care about restoring 8 health to an enemy hero. At turn 5, you just want to kill his minions, and then you will kill him with the big guy. So Corrupted Healbot can actually see play. Eater of Secrets, a nice inclusion, a nice card to deal with secrets overall. Destroy all enemy secrets, gain +1/+1 for each. So people will be scared. Like, if the metagame goes towards secrets, people will start playing Eater of Secrets, and then the metagame will actually revert from playing secrets. So Eater of Secrets makes it interesting. Nothing else to say about this guy. Cult Apothecary for 5 mana, 4/4 for each minion. Restore 2 health to your hero. Enemy minion. So I don't like it that much. It's kind of like a cheat card for newbies because they feel like, hey, I can heal so much if the hunter has a full board, and then you actually like still get that damage back, and you only have a 4/4 on board. So it's just a common card. It looks okay, but it's really terrible, I think. Then Polluted Hoarder is another one of those guys. Like, you draw a card, 4 mana is just too easy to kill. It's not enough to. It's another draw card, and there's a lot of draw cards in Hearthstone. So if you are really in need of drawing cards, that's okay for your deck. So if you, let's say right now we have this Freeze Mage with torches and a lot of draw. So with that deck, maybe Polluted Hoarder will be playable as a 4-drop, but you probably can do much better than playing something like this. So well, it's a common, so probably will not be playable. Cthulhu's Chosen, 4 mana, 4/2 Divine Shield. Give your Cthulhu +2/+2 when I read this. This is actually an okay card. It's a common card, but it's a 4 mana, 4/2 Divine Shield is quite good. You need to spend 2 packets of damage to deal with this, so you need to deal 1 first to Divine Shield and then 2 again. It might not be that easy, and if you are not able to do it, it's 4 attack, so it's 4 mana. So it's something. Then we have Infested Tauren, that I've already talked about. The stats are okay. It's a 2/3 for 4 mana. If you count the slime, it's a 4/5, so you get good stats. It's a taunt. The slime is not a taunt, but the card is quite good. Well, quite good. It's okay to play. It's decent as long as commons are considered. Twilight Elder, 3 mana, 3/4. At the end of turn, give your Cthulhu +1/+1. Stats are correct, so you can play it in Cthulhu deck. Spawn of Nizov, 3 mana, 2/2. The Fragile, give your minions +2/+2, +1/+1. +2/+2, I would definitely play it. +1/+1 depends. if you play a Paladin deck that's having a lot of minions, maybe Spawn of N'Zoth will actually be playable, but Competitive Spirit is still a card. Like it does not rotate out if I remember correctly. Buffs are not great overall, so Spawn of N'Zoth is not great. It can work in specific situations. And Beacon of Evil, it's again a great card for Cthulhu deck because the stats are decent and it buffs Cthulhu. Then we have the Tentacle of N'Zoth being the last card. Deal 1 damage to all minions. Well, it will stop aggro in a way. It's like it's a whirlwind and minion. People say it's the same as Explosive Sheep, but it actually deals only 1 damage, so it might be better for you specifically if you have Frauding Berserker, if you don't want to kill your minions, and sometimes you just need like 1 mana. You don't want to spend too much mana on a minion. So Sheep exists. Tentacle of N'Zoth exists near it. You can choose which one would you like to play in specific metagame and specific deck. Okay, so that will be it, guys. It's not that many cards, but it's a lot of cards actually, and I'm really excited for the set. Hopefully Xaran will come soon and we will see how it works as well. But overall, for now, it seems that we've seen a lot of cards. Some of them are okay, some of them are really terrible. Basically, it's if you look at the decks that we had in the past, that the past decks are super strong compared to the cards we're getting now. So we are in a way with the if there will be no rotation, this set will be really bad. But because we have rotation, we have Naxxramas going out, we have GVG going out, and we will have some nerfs for this classic set. I believe that a lot of this stuff will be actually playable. So yeah, excited for the set. Let's see how it goes. And 29th, right? 29th. So if you want to grind. Actually, it's like end of the month. So anyway, if you get to Legends, probably the last days will be really hectic. The last days of the season, if you want to get to like top 100 Legend, do it right now and be ready because the 29th will be absolutely crazy with people and streamers and pro players trying all the new decks. But this will be it. This video was long enough. So thanks so much for watching. If you actually lasted, I'll try to review all the cards as they go. Starting from today, I'm back after all the travels. And the content will flow. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.